you just said you tired.
I tired, not tired.
You not tired. Okay.
But that's Southern Soul Tuesday. Now we have a special guest with us today, right?
Yeah.
Joining us here, I guess for those who are watching live. Shout out to, I see Prince Quinn checking in. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Y'all make sure to share this because we got some great interviews and great information coming up. But introduce our guest, Lex.
Well, I was riding through Hattiesburg, listening to the radio, and I heard this song.
Okay.
And then later on, or maybe the next day, I was either in Biloxi or Gulfport, one of the two, and I heard the song again. And I had to look up to see who it was, and it was none other than Mississippian or Jacksonian.
Okay.
Go by the name of T Wade. And T Wade is here with us today, man.
Yeah, look, let me get my late claps. I'm sorry, T Wade. I'll be a little late on this. Thank you so much for joining us on the Lounge Radio Show here at WMPR 90.1. How's it going?
Doing pretty good.
Yes.
Thanking God every day.
You know what? We have to.
That's right.
Like that shit, when we get, if God allows us to get up every morning, that should be first thing first, right?
It's a blessing.
That's
it's a
it.
blessing.
I swear. It's so much going on. So, yes, indeed. Well, we are excited to have you here, to learn about you, your journey, and then you brought some music with you today for us.
Yeah,
right?
I did. My name is T Wade. I'm from the country. I'm from Terry, Mississippi.
Terry, tell them get that right. Tell them get it right. Rep your hood, like Duck Hill, right? Rep your hood.
Crystal Springs as well.
All right,
my dad, my mother's from Crystal Springs. My father's from Terry.
Okay.
I'm 44 years old. I've been singing a long time. I know a lot of people haven't really heard about me. I did a couple of openings for J1 back in the day.
Okay.
I was at the in Brookhaven at the old Blues Brook Festival back in 2021. Did a show there with him, and also a few years earlier than that, I did a show with him. But I've been singing since I've been about 7 years old. I grew up singing in the church.
Hey, look, I'm about to say, if you don't, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, Art, if you don't start in the church, you can't sing. I'm sorry. Okay, I said it. I said it. No, I'm just playing. But if you started in the church, you got a better chance. Okay,
But like I said, I'm an old country boy. Like to fish in the spare time. First of all, before we get started, I want to, thank God. Without Him, ain't nothing possible. And I'm thankful every day. I've been through some things in my life, but God has brought me through.
I promise.
Also, I want to send a shout out to Mr. Clarence Thompson, boss promoter. You know what I'm saying? A good friend of mine. Also, my manager, Mr. Kevin Mauner. And I want to send a shout out to you. I appreciate you, man, for having me. On y'all show and everything. It's a pleasure to meet you too, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, indeed.
But from T Wade, I just released a single back in 2024. Actually, I started working on it in 2023. Bring Your Love Tonight. Also, there's a video out that we released in May of 2024. Okay. Also, I have more music that's coming. I also have another song out that's called Across the Room. Okay. We're getting ready to shoot another video as well for that as well, coming up probably in September or October. So, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And so now, with the type of music that you make, the Bring Your Love Tonight is more so of an R&B feel?
Yes, it is.
And so, or do you consider yourself an R&B artist? Because that's how you was labeled to us. Because the next song sounds like it's R&B, right?
Yeah, I am an R&B artist. I am. But I also love soul music too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm versatile. I
tell people, when you're an artist, though, you can sing "Mary Had a Little Lamb," right? And you're gonna be fine. Gospel. Right. It's just where your passion lies more when it comes to what type of art music.
Right. But one of my favorite singers is I know he's dead and gone, Mr. Johnny Taylor.
I swear.
I also love Mr. Willie Clayton. One of my favorite singers too. So, shout out to Willie Clayton.
Yes,
so now with the singles, are they going to be part of a bigger project?
Yes, it is. It is.
And is this going to be a R&B project?
It's going to be an R&B
for the most part.
For the most part, but we're also probably going to have some just more soul music, and probably some southern soul that's coming too. So I try to be versatile. You got to give the people what they want. That's it. I'm a firm believer in that.
That's it. Yeah, like I tell people, we've been. I know Lex been in it since he was a baby, right? And I just started with radio and music, but I grew up in the music. I tell people, my dad, we lived in a little house outside of Grenada, and it was everybody back home know what Monday's Cafe is. It was a juke joint, and so on Sundays, this little baby used to go with my dad and clean up, but I used to hear the music all weekend or all weekend they were open. But music, it's one of those. It's just that's if that's your passion, right?
Truly.
Yeah. So just having that ear and then good music. Good music gonna always find its way to the people, right? We had that sort of back and forth about that. People were saying DJs are responsible for people. I'm like, people are responsible for DJs playing the music. It's like which one came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
If the people are feeling, the DJ's not gonna play.
That's a fact.
That's it. So yeah. So who were some of the people? I know you said Willie and Johnny, but growing up as a young boy and then especially R&B line.
Well, one of my favorite singers, he is my favorite singer, Johnny Gill. And you got Gerald Levert, another favorite singer of mine.
Yes.
And then I always loved the group Silk.
I said yes.
And also the late great Donny Hathaway.
Oh yeah, you got some good. Oh yeah, you had some good ones you was listening to. Most definitely.
Yeah. So now, what encouraged you to actually start recording music and making your own music?
Well, man, I'm gonna tell you, man. My manager, man, Kevin, we've been friends over 30-something years, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm talking about back in the '90s, So, and back then, when Kevin first heard me sing, he like, man, look, you need to go and take this serious. But when you growing up, you're a teenager, you don't take that serious. You chasing the girls and everything. You think you're cool, you ain't got time, And so, and he had been, he been telling me that on and off, And so, I found, I hadn't heard from Kevin in a while, and he actually saw me on Facebook, live, doing some live shows back in 2021, and some things didn't work out like we planned, and so, I reached back out to Kevin and everything like that, and we called up and he asked me, wait, you still doing your music thing like that, man, and I said, yeah, man, look, I'm trying to get out here and, I'm trying to get people to hear me and stuff like that, but it seemed like every road I turned was a bad connection, stuff like that, And he said, he was telling me, man, don't sweat it, we're gonna get you there, and here he is, what I'm saying, so.
And that's DJ Crazy Beats.
Yeah, Crazy Beats,
DJ Crazy Beats.
Yeah, it's my homeboy Kevin Mott.
Okay, all right. And so did he do this track? Because I know he's a producer as well. Did he give you this track that we're gonna check out here in a minute? Is this one of his tracks?
Well, I actually came up with the track back in 2016. So I came up with the track. But Kevin, he's the mastermind behind it, and he wrote the song, and my other homeboy, Mr. Zach Service, he's the mastermind behind getting it all, mastered and everything. Like, and I also want to send a shout out to Zach Service.
The mayoral candidate.
Yeah, that's my
okay, he do music. Okay,
yeah. And he also
didn't know that.
He also did he also is the mastermind behind the new song that I got across the room as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that is interesting.
And Kevin, Kevin, he's the writer as well.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I think let's get into the Handy. What's the name? Let's introduce it, Lick.
Yeah, Handy. We got the song is by T Love, and the song is "Bring Your Love Tonight," debuting right here on the lounge on 90.1 FM WMPR with Marlena and Lex Luger. You got it ready for us, Handy? T Wade.
All right, yeah. Stay tuned.
Bring your love tonight, baby. Yeah. Talk to me. Restless nights, no time for sleep. Put your warm brown skin right here next to me. You're killing that blue dress. Bring your body close. Give me your hand, girl. Vibe into the music slow. Chanel rules, go, ease your lipstick. And on my face, sexy hits of your kisses. I have an appetite in what I crave to see. Fuzzy on the outside, you're so sweet. Bring your love, bring your love, bring your love tonight. I want you to bring your love tonight. Bring your love tonight. I want to feel your body next to mine. Bring your love tonight. Tonight is alright. The passion is so strong. I can feel your heartbeat. Can't wait to be alone. Come a little closer. I'ma hold you so tight. Magic in the air. You know the mood is so right. Baby, it's your chance to bring you love. Gonna love you so right. One night's not enough. So girl, don't keep me waiting. waiting, no more hesitation. Baby, you're the key and I'm the foundation. Love tonight. Bring your love, bring your love. Bring your love tonight. I will feel your body, baby. Your love tonight. Bring your love, bring me your love tonight. Baby, you're stuck here with me, don't be nervous. The way you curse hit my head is so perfect. You're looking so good, girl, I want to show you off. Take you back to the crib and set the mood off. All I'm playing tonight is nothing but soft grooves. Moscato and ice, so kick off your shoes. I'm about to hit the switch and turn the lights down low. So come here, baby, put it on real slow. Love tonight. Bring your love, baby. Bring your love tonight. I want you to bring your love tonight, baby, 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 baby. Love tonight. I gotta have your love tonight. Bring your love, baby. Say I really want it, I really need it. I gotta have your love tonight, tonight. Bring your love, baby.
That's T-Wade.
Bring your love. You know, they don't make stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, man, he got me ready to go get some
Oh,
rose petals and light the
and some
candles.
candle lights.
Run some
and stuff of that
bubble
nature.
bath water.
Now you said this is your first
Yes,
single.
my first
Okay.
single.
Now, is it your first time playing on radio, or you played it on radio?
Well, it's on the coast now.
It's on the coast,
It's down in North Carolina.
No, that's right.
I was
You
gonna say, I heard it in Hattiesburg,
Okay.
and I heard it in 94.5.
Okay. What do you think the state of R&B these days? Like we said, we grew up, you know, with the Silk of the world and Jodeci and R. Kelly. We grew up with R. Kelly.
We grew up on R. Kelly.
We
Now
did.
we on Southern Soul.
I mean, but you know, and so I guess starting in 2000, to me, R&B started to go towards more of a rap sort of blend. But what do you think? What do you think about today?
Today's R&B?
Today's R&B.
Well, you know, I mean, today's R&B, it ain't like, to me, my personal opinion, you know, today's R&B is not real music to me, you know. Me personally, you know, I grew up, you know, in a time and an era, you know, from the 80s and on up, you know, when you grew up listening to Luther Vandross, you know, Peebo Bryson, you know, those are real singers right there, you know, and so me, you know, R&B has always been my thing, you know, so, you know, I, you know, I'm from a different bracket, you know, like I said, I love Southern Soul too, but I'm in a different, you know, category of music. So R&B has always been my style. Yeah. But to make a long story short, you know, my opinion on R&B now, you know, it doesn't have any real meaning behind it. You know, so it's totally different.
But that's the R&B that they pushing though. I must let it be known that there is still a lot of good R&B. Yeah. It's just
not what being pushed.
It's not on. It's not what's being pushed.
Well, and you know, like I said, you grew up with these like the Grace and like I said, there are some good and great R&B singers, but they are being overshadowed by what being led, you know, the type of style of music being led these days. Yeah.
So now, so that was your first single. Now you got a show coming up this weekend. Would this be your first time performing this song?
No, I actually performed it the earlier part of the late part of last year, you know, over here at the VFW, you know, like that, you know. So, you know, but you know, this will be one of my first time down here, you know, in Moss Point, Mississippi, you know, getting a chance to perform live. You know, this song right here is out.
Yeah, because you on the show with Nathan Kimball, Mr. Bagley.
Man, this the Father's Day.
This Father's Day show this Saturday, Main Street Lounge in Moss Point, Mississippi. Yeah. You got something else in store that you're gonna be doing that night too?
Yeah, you know, a little bit. I'm gonna have it mixed up. You know, a little bit of, you know, a little bit of blues, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know. So, you know, I'm gonna be kind of versatile, whatever, like that. You know, letting know, you know, there's another side to me more than just, you know, R&B too. You know what I'm saying? So, I like to give the people what they want. You know
That's
what I'm
it.
saying? Yeah, so.
Now, how can people? I know you see you perform this weekend. How can they listen to your music? Where can they follow you?
They can follow me on my Facebook page, T-Wade. Also, they can go to my website, twade92.com. And also, they can hit me up on Instagram, T-Wade80, and TikTok, T-Way 80, you know. So yeah, but you can find a lot of my music like on Amazon, Spotify, you know, all that good stuff like this. So I'm there. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, look, we appreciate you for joining us. Look, come by anytime. You got some